Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. As I mentioned just before the break, it's such a difficult and heartbreaking decision for many to make that decision to surrender your pet. And there's a lot of things that you need to sort of think about for yourself. But for the Ottawa Humane Society, things certainly changed. COVID had affected that entire process. And here to tell us more about it, we are joined by Stephen Smith. He is the Manager of Communications with the Ottawa Humane Society. Stephen, welcome back to the show. Great to have you back. Stephen, yeah, let's talk about, that decision in itself. What are some of the reasons that people would come to the Ottawa Humane Society to make that difficult decision to surrender their pet?
Absolutely, Derek. You hit the nail on the head there, where making the decision to give up your pet is a very hard decision to make, and often it's done in the animal's best interest. So a couple of reasons people might bring a pet to us is perhaps the pet has medical needs that are beyond the owner's ability to provide for them. Maybe something's really changed in the owner's life recently. They've got a new commitment to take on. They just don't have the same amount of time to provide their pet with the best care that their pet deserves. Or as well, there might be a new family member in their life, and maybe the family member and the pet just don't get along and they can't keep that stress level in their house. And whatever the reason is, the OHS is here for animals in need and to help out Ottawa's pet owners.
Stephen, did you see the numbers grow at all during the pandemic, or as we sort of coming out of the pandemic? Have those numbers come up at all for those people making that decision?
No, we've seen fairly normal numbers. Nothing too out of the usual for us.
Let's talk about COVID and how that affected the entire process. I'm sure it did. So what did the process, actually take us back. So pre-pandemic, what did that process look like?
Absolutely. So before the pandemic, somebody could just simply walk in and surrender their pet to us. Obviously, during the pandemic, a lot of things became unknown. And as a result, we had to change how we admitted animals into our care and how we allowed owners to surrender their pets to us. So what we did was we changed to a system where people would make an appointment to surrender their pet. And by doing this, we would ensure that we had the resources to care for animals in emergency situations, and that also we could care for animals in such a way that we'd be able to get them into forever homes faster after they arrive in our care and provide them the best care possible.
Stephen, is it a matter of just showing up and handing it over, or are there questions that are asked? I mean, what sort of things do you go through with it? Maybe do a step-by-step sort of walk us through that process.
No, certainly. So the way it looks now, of course, is you start off with making a phone call to the OHS, and from there we would start figuring out, okay, what are the animal's needs? How long could it possibly stay in its home for, and when does this animal need to be brought to the shelter? In terms of what the owner might need to provide to us, we'd ask for some of the animal's history, so that way we could better care for the animal. And we also need proof of ownership, because at the end of the day, only the owner of an animal can surrender the animal to the OHS.
Right. Are there some valuable lessons that you've learned through all of this and having to change the process? And if so, do you see yourselves implementing those lessons learned?
Absolutely. The way we've been doing admissions throughout the pandemic has proven to be really valuable and really does help provide animals with that next level of care. And moreover, too, when it ensures that animals are getting through our care even faster and winding up in their forever homes even sooner than before. So all that to say, we are definitely proceeding with the appointment-based admissions for us, so that way people will call in to admit their animals rather than just say showing up and then admitting their animal from there.
See, what about suggestions before people, make that decision to go to the Ottawa Humane Society to surrender their pet? What other options may they consider?
Absolutely. So if someone gives us a call looking to surrender their pet, one of the very first things we'll actually talk about is how can we keep that pet with their family? So say, for instance, if the owner is struggling to afford pet food, we might offer our emergency pet food bank to them. Or if they're struggling with their pet's behavior, we can provide a one-on-one consultation with some of our staff to help address the issues they're experiencing, or maybe sign them up for a seminar class, and that way they can explore the issue further and find out how they can resolve it on their own.
Stephen, always a pleasure having you. Thanks so much for joining us today and for sharing this advice with us.
Thanks a lot, Derek.
All right. That is the Ottawa Humane Society. Of course, you can visit their website to find out more information on all the fantastic programs that they have available as well. Camps coming up this summer if you're interested in registering your child. Just a reminder, by the way, with that storm that swept through, follow the City of Ottawa on social media. They are updating constantly. They're doing a green bin blitz. So if you have food that is spoiled, you can put out your green bin in some of those most affected areas. And again, as I said off the top, we're all thinking of you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.